Hey everybody, this is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. This is just a quick video and I'm trying to get the light on this lucite framed picture so that you could see the vandalism that was done to it. I'm not sure if you can see those lines up there? You see that? It's like they used some kind of a heat gun to completely scrape the frame here. And this is an old picture frame. And this was actually in mint condition in Manalapan, New Jersey, in the house I lived in. There you go. You see that in the corner there? And there. You see there in the orange portion, the matting, you see those lines there? This was done to this framed picture. This is how evil and sinister and jealous these criminals are. To take something beautiful like this. This is a building located in New York City. It's all mirrors. And basically what it is, it's a mirrored building reflecting the building opposite it. I'll tell you that my ex-boyfriend took this when we were kids. I say kids. I was a teenager. He was a couple of years older than me. And he was a photographer and a musician. And he gave this to me. So this is quite old because I'm old at this point. I'm not a teenager anymore. But you can see that this is the damage they did. This is permanent damage. You'd see those scrapes on the side here. And when I touch it, just so you know, when I touch it, it's bumpy. You see the lines here? And we've got a plane overhead, guys. You hear them? Can't see it. But they're there. Going that way, but you can't see them. You can hear it because they're cloaked. Oh wait, there it is. I see it now. It was behind the cloud, right there. Plane. I digress, but here you go. See, there you go. There's the lighting. And this is what they did to my framed picture. Oh, there's a lot worse stuff that they've done. But this is just one of the items. When they break into your home, like before you know what's going on, they go through everything and they mark everything. And if you look really close, they always leave a signature. Because these are psychopaths. They want to take credit for their vandalism. And this is what they do to innocent people with your tax dollars. You know, it could be, you know, after you go through a divorce. You know, I have encountered so many different lawyers going through my 3.5-year long divorce. Yeah, you think that we were celebrities or something. My ex-husband just wouldn't divorce me. It took 3.5 years, and I went through many lawyers. He did. And his lawyers were actually horrible. In fact, one got arrested. One eventually got arrested. She actually got arrested for human trafficking. Yeah, this is how bad it is. She had hired a woman from another country, and she was using her as a slave. And what happened was her slave was permitted to drive her car without a license, got into an accident of some sort. And then they discovered that she was illegal and that she was being held hostage and forced to work for this lawyer, female lawyer. And my ex-husband had to switch lawyers. I switched lawyers also because every one of them did a horrible job. I ended up having a criminal lawyer represent me, but I ended up dumping that law firm. Also, but I digress. Lawyers are always involved in the targeting of people, and so is law enforcement and the sheriff's department. And then, of course, your community stalker neighbors. I'm getting too many reflections of the trees, but it's really bad. The damage to this frame is really, really bad. It's no longer smooth. It's rough, buckled. It's like they used some kind of a flame. That's what it looks like. It looks like some sort of a heat gun was used on it, some heating device. It kind of reminds me of what they did in Manalapan, New Jersey. To my staircase, each time I painted the staircase, you know, the molding and everything, it looked really pretty. They would come in with a heat gun. I didn't know it was a heat gun. Actually, somebody told me from looking at it, because they're familiar with this kind of stuff, that they're using a heat gun on the paint. And this is what this looks like. It looks like some kind of a heat gun that was used to damage this frame. But this is just a quickie, because the people out there, in case you start to see unusual things happening that you can't explain, the cognitive dissonance is so great. It really is. It's just so great. You just don't imagine that somebody is actually intentionally damaging your things. You just don't understand what is going on. But your mind just doesn't go to somebody is coming into your house and vandalizing your belongings. You know, especially if you are, you know, you go about your business, you're just working, taking care of your kids and your house and stuff. Why would you think that anybody is targeting you and breaking into your house and going through your belongings, right? It's usually because some psychopath that you disagreed with or didn't like, or somebody was envious or jealous of you, reported you. When I say report, I mean nominate. You have to get nominated by someone into the program. So it could be, let's say, maybe a nonprofit group, you know, like the Crazy Cat Cartel in New Jersey, the envious and jealous little loser girls that were harassing me and stealing my cats and posting them on Adopt-A-Pet. Literally, they were stealing my cats and posting them on Adopt-A-Pet to adopt them out. I caught them several times. Yes, I have proof, but I digress. But it could be that, not that they have the power to, but perhaps they know someone who does. Usually you need to know a high-level individual who knows a judge. That's pretty much the way it works. Or somebody in the FBI, or somebody in the CIA, somebody who has the ability to place somebody in a program. It could be a chief of police, it could be a sheriff. I mean, it could be an ex-boyfriend who is in the know, or who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. Let's say you disagreed with somebody. You know, there's some people out there, they're narcissists or psychopaths, sociopaths, and you're just not able to disagree with them. They just take it so personally. They have a vendetta against you for the rest of your life. So I hope you can see. Oh, here you go. The lighting is better. This is what they did to my frame picture here. You see that, folks? Isn't that nice? Look at that. Evil. Evil to the core. And so much more. I try to make light of it because it's a horrible situation to be in. It's mean, nasty, evil. Nobody should have to endure this. No one. And the fact that your tax dollars, literally everyone's tax dollars, are paying for these horrible torture programs. And it's being exposed little at a time. Everybody's going to know what's going on here. Just remember that many years ago, I'm forgetting his name right now, the President Clinton, he apologized for the illegal experiments that were performed on groups of people. He said it was wrong. He apologized. It's online. You can find it somewhere. It seemed like it was deeply heartfelt, but there was no restitution. And the way you have to hit these people is in the pocketbook, because they are literally spending millions of dollars on each targeted person each year. And 2 criminals just drove by. 2 of them. 1, 2. On this remote rural block. So they are spending millions of dollars per year on each targeted person. Do you have any idea what Americans could do with that money? There would be no homeless people. No one. There goes a 3rd one. Look at that. 3rd criminal. 3rd. 3 in a row. Got to get those gift cards going on, right, folks? But imagine what could be done with that money instead of paying these criminals to torment innocent people. There's not enough crime in this country, so they have to create it. And then they pay these criminals, these perpetrators, to harass people to the point where they act out. Each targeted person is poked and prodded so many times, not only with the electromagnetic field that they place around the individual's home. That is an entirely other story that I don't discuss very often because it's hard to prove. It's hard for me to prove. I can only prove it with the bruises on my body. And I'm a really careful person. I'm not banging into things. Here goes a 4th one, folks. Number 4, criminal 5. Here you go, guys. 5 of them. Brand new cars with your tax dollars, everybody. Brand new vehicles with your tax dollars. 5 criminals on this remote rural block. I love collecting evidence, people. I really do. I'm going to put my boots on and then lock up my gate. Maybe we'll be fortunate enough to have another criminal drive by. Oh, I'm so bad. And that's what they are. They're criminals because they know that targeted people are innocent. They know it. They know targeted people are innocent. And it is their job to set somebody up, get them incarcerated, call them crazy. But let me tell you something, okay? And some people know this. I have 2 psychology degrees. No, I'm not bragging or boasting. It's just the experience that I have. My undergraduate degree was in abnormal, deviant, and violent psychology with a concentration in addictive behavior. I graduated with honors. I also have a master's in psychology with a concentration in health, in the psychological patterns of health and disease. I also have certifications in alcohol and drug addiction. I understand the nature of addictions, addictive behavior, and criminal behavior. I studied it. I understand it. I get it. I think this is one of the only reasons why I'm able to deal with these idiots. Because I get it. But there is not one of these people that are going to tell me that any of these targeted people are schizophrenic, paranoid, delusional. Because 1, you don't develop schizophrenia in your 50s and 60s. And some people are even in their 70s being targeted. It just doesn't happen. And also, for the record, the technology that is being utilized on some targeted people, it's called Voice to Skull, SKULL, V2K. And this is where the government, yes, I'll say it, folks, is beaming, projecting sound into the skulls of some people. Sort of like those shooters, the teenagers that suddenly go ballistic and shoot up people and then either die or get incarcerated or further experimented on. They're being intentionally made to be crazy. Imagine being a teenager and you've got this huge IQ, really intelligent, everything ahead of you, and then somebody places you in a targeted program. But you're a teenager, you don't know any better. Maybe it was even a parent that did it. Some parents actually do that to drive their own children crazy because maybe somebody has something on the parent. Let's say maybe the parent's cheating on a spouse or did some kind of bizarre thing. Maybe, had a bad business deal or something. So they actually sacrifice their kids. And yeah, this really does happen. It's very sad. So these kids are being experimented on with voice to skull, V2K, and remote neural monitoring. Remote neural monitoring is where the controller has the ability to somewhat see through the individual's eyes remotely, hear what the individual is hearing, smell what the individual is smelling. It is so invasive. It should be illegal, but it's not. It's being done covertly to millions of innocent people. Millions. I believe that I am experiencing remote neural monitoring. The reason I say that is because I can hide something in my house. I could even buy it in town, pay cash for it, where there's no record, and place it somewhere in my house that only I know about, but it will disappear. Somebody knows it's there. The only way that could be is when you're under surveillance. When you're under surveillance, they know everything. And it's really a horrible situation because imagine being married. I mean, I'm not married anymore. But imagine being in an intimate relationship and knowing these creepos are watching your most intimate moments. Could you imagine them watching you in the bathtub, watching you as you're getting dressed? Because they're so sick, such voyeurs. They want to watch every little thing you do so they can create and script a program to utilize what they know, the intimate details of your life, to use it against you some way. Sort of like the photos that I showed earlier of my leggings. Something as simple as getting dressed in the morning with a pair of leggings. But most people know that leggings are mostly spandex. There are a lot of spandex, so they're really tight. You got to kind of squeeze into them, and they feel really comfortable, shapely and stuff. And to put on a pair of leggings, and they're completely stretched out, like they're twice the size, and there's no elasticity. That sounds kind of, simplistic, but imagine this happening to everything you own. They watch everything that you do and then tailor their programs to torture the person. They have murdered, since I'm here in Kentucky, murdered, stolen, shot, run over 25 rescue cats. That's right, folks, 25. 25 rescue cats. They hate animals. They hate people. They hate themselves. What makes you think they're going to protect an animal? Like the little kitty cats. These are psychopaths that we're dealing with. But I basically came on here just to demonstrate the kinds of vandalism that are performed. And if this is happening to you, you are not alone. You're not crazy. They really do perform these psychological operations. And on a last note, I'll tell you something else that they did. I mean, this is so sick. Two things. They broke into my house. And this was when I first moved here. I first moved into my house. Here comes another criminal. Look at this. There's like 5 people in like 10 minutes. They broke into my house, and this is while I was asleep. And I know it because it was recorded. This is before I ever reported anything that was happening in my house to the sheriff's department. And once I did and I shared those videos, my cameras were hacked from that point forward. I'm just watering a plant right now. So what they did is I had a wire rack. Simple wire rack. It's very pretty. It was a little bit ornate in the curves, etc. But it was extremely smooth. There were no indentations or anything. It was like it was brand new. What they did, and you could hear it while I was sleeping on the cameras, they were denting something or hammering something. And they used very measured sounds. It's not like click, 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 click. It's like they will do it click, 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 click. They've got a pattern. And what they did is they took this wired, and this is some more vandalism here. Right here, they did this. They took that wired rack and created a pattern of hammering on it. If you know what hammered metal looks like, that's what they did. This is a psychological operation. So they took something of mine that was extremely smooth and turned it into something else. They did the same thing with my new denim jacket. Now, I'm in my 60s now, but this happened like when I was in my 50s. I had a new denim jacket. I only wore it a couple of times. It was hanging up. And it was hanging up on a coat rack. And the next time I went to wear it, my new denim jacket was torn up as if it belonged to a teenager. And the only way I could describe it is, if you've got a teenager and you know the way sometimes they dress with clothing that have holes in it, like they'll actually buy the clothing with holes in it, holes in the knees and tears and stuff like that. They want it to look like that because it's more comfortable. But they did this to my denim jacket to make it look like it was older, had holes in it, scrapes, where they wore out the sleeves in the area of the elbows and stuff. And this is a psychological operation. So imagine you buy a new jacket. Let's say you don't know that you're targeted. You've got a new jacket. You go to put it on. And you're like, what happened to my jacket? Like, what happened? And this is what they do. It's totally psychologically abusive. This is what psychopaths do. So I can go on and on about this type of targeting that they have done to me. Like with my books. I was an adult learner, so I have dozens of textbooks. See, folks, look here. This is all the water that's left in the creek. See that? We had almost 4 inches of rain. Right, almost 4 inches of rain. And there's no water. No water. And the turtle, I gave him some food here, folks. So here he is. He's here. Poor little baby. There's no water left for you, honey. Huh? But, so it's psychologically abusive. And what are you going to do? Go to the police department and say, somebody broke into my house during the night. I heard the hammering. You could hear it on my cameras. And then you tell the cops that they turned your jacket They changed your jacket. They changed your rack. I mean, the program is designed to make you look crazy. Like, who does this kind of stuff? I mean, who performs this kind of psychological abuse and torture, experimentation on another person? Who does this? I'm just moving rocks out of the way here. And I've got this piece of scrap metal here. I just can't get it out. I don't know who put it here, but I've got to get it out. Yeah, so I've got like a little bit of water here, and then that's it. Totally dry. So let me climb up here. But this is the kind of, I'll call it torture, psychological abuse that is performed on me and hundreds of thousands of other people. And they do it differently for everybody. I can't say that exactly what is happening to me will happen exactly to another person. And this is why it's so important for us to share these stories. And to also share these stories with individuals who you may think are targeted or may become targeted in the future, so that they know what to look out for. Sort of like all these weeds that have been planted in my driveway. And most people will say, oh, well, that happens to my driveway too. Well, you know what? This driveway was brand new. And it just happens that this crabgrass, that's nowhere else. I don't have it anywhere else in my lawn. It's only around the driveway. What's the likelihood of that happening? Hello, baby. Hi. What you doing? What are you doing? I saw what you were doing before. You were in my garden. Yes, you were. So anyway, folks, I'm going to end here. And this is the kinds of psychological abuse, these tactics, and all the vandalism. And you saw it for yourself. How many people drove by when I was talking just now? They've got to get the gift cards. # gift card horror. I'm signing off, Lorraine Alternative Homesteading.